This is a giant remote-controlled Minecraft spider. You control it with this, and it actually goes over 20 miles per hour, which it turns out is a lot faster than the kids in our neighborhood can run.
But before we get to that, we have to go back a few weeks and check out how this thing was built.
The goal was to build a spider that's the same size it would be if Minecraft were real life. So that means if you were in the game, the spiders would be this big.
Which turns out is huge and absolutely terrifying.
We're gonna use a super fast remote controlled car to move it around, which means it needed to be really light, but we also wanna use it outside for Halloween, so it has to be waterproof.
That meant cardboard wasn't gonna work because it falls apart in the rain. So we turned to one of our favorite building materials, pink foam.
We've used this stuff on some awesome projects like our 10-foot tall dark portal and our pirate treasure chest. Not only is it really light, but it's rigid, so it's perfect.
So to get started, we figured out all of our measurements and got to cutting.
This is the spider head. Look how big it is.
It's huge. This is gonna be so cool. Before we glue it up though, we need to do the eyes. Now the eyes are gonna be glowing LEDs, so we have to cut holes where the eyes are. It's gonna be a whole lot easier to cut the holes before we glue it up than after.
First we use a marker to draw a grid on the face, and then we're gonna use a super sharp knife to cut out where the glowing eyes will be. We also cut an access panel into the bottom of the head, which we'll use later to place our lights.
To glue the pink foam together, we like to use clear Gorilla Glue. You get it wet, you smear the glue on, and then you hold it together with some toothpicks and blue painter's tape.
We're gonna fill in these tiny little gaps with just some spackle. This is the same stuff you'd use on like your wall if you're patching a little hole or whatever. And then once everything's dry, we can just take it outside and we're gonna do a quick sand on all of it. It'll be nice and smooth and ready for paint.
We lightly drew on a grid on top of here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it demarks where our pixels are. And we've got 4 different shades of gray. So we're gonna try to match the game spider as best as possible.
1,944 individual pixels to paint.
What?
How many have you done so far?
Like 10?
10. Nice.
So many squares. But they're done.
It's been like a week and we painted thousands of squares, basically.
Now it's time to glue them up.
If you're searching for the perfect weight, just use your crate full of bones.
It's glued. And look. It's very secure. So now it's time to do the legs, which you're going to attach right here.
So the 3D model of the spider, all the legs collapse and collide together, but because we can't do that in real life, we have to actually cut angles to have all the legs together.
So we made a little mock-up of our spider body, and so we need to make all these legs fit within the blue stuff. We're using these paper templates to figure out our angles, which is really helpful because we can make sure it actually fits before we cut the foam. They fit. They totally fit in there, just barely. We're gonna have like no wiggle room. Next, we'll glue the legs together, and once they're dry, we'll come back and glue it on the spider. Woo.
To make the red eyes, we explored a bunch of ways we could do it, but to get the effect we wanted, we decided to use our new 3D printer. This is a resin printer from Elgu, so we figured it would do a great job at making a bunch of small translucent panels for the eyes.
We also just got it, and we're really excited to give it a test.
People do insanely detailed stuff with resin printers, so it's kind of funny that we did something so basic with it, but it was perfect. It nailed it.
We started with some transparent red resin, and then we used some resin dyes to make 4 different shades of red. Then we let the printer get to work.
The results came out perfect, and once we got the little panels glued onto the spider's face, it was exactly the look we were going for.
By the way, if you don't have a 3D printer, you can do a similar effect with some clear plastic acrylic and some transparent layers of red glued over it.
Finally, the best part. This thing is so cool.
This thing goes so fast.
It goes like 35 miles an hour.
Something like
right?
that, something ridiculous.
And we've tested it a lot.
So the people at the store told us that this could hold a lot of weight.
So I guess the big question is, will it actually hold the spider up? Okay.
I think it looks fine.
Push it down a little. How far down does it go?
I mean, I could push it all the way down.
Yeah, I mean, that's got a lot of travel still. This is gonna work.
Okay. To attach the spider's legs to its body, we figured out the slope of the angle that we wanted and then cut our foam. Due to the angle, we actually ended up needing to cut some notches in the sides, but it was actually okay because it helped hold the legs in place while the glue dried.
One extra little detail we ended up adding were these little leg guards. We figured the legs would hit the ground a lot as it was moving around, so these little feet get glued onto the legs to protect the foam.
Look how cool these lights are. Ready? Spooky eyes! These lights are cool because there's this little magnet thing. There. So we're gonna stick it on the back of the wall, and then we can take them off and charge them.
That looks so good.
I think it looks, I love it.
Okay, final touch. We have a Bluetooth speaker. Ready for this? Creepy spider sound.
That's so creepy.
Okay.
All right.
So attaching the car to the spider ended up being pretty easy. We ended up making this board that sort of fits onto the RC car's chassis. We hot glued the board to the spider, which ended up being a bad idea because we forgot that hot glue melts pink foam and it started smoking, and yeah, don't do that.
No.
Just use regular glue. Luckily it didn't totally destroy it though, and it went on, and from there we actually just zip tied the RC car to the board, which is nice because we can take it back off later, and it was perfectly secure.
It was finally ready, so we called all of the unsuspecting neighborhood children and told them we had a new Halloween prop we wanted them to test out.
Is that Minecraft? Minecraft Spider! Where did you get that? Wait, you can control it? Spider?
Can't catch it. We gotta see who's the fastest. Go! Subscribe for more projects. Until next time, stay wicked.